Hi everyone, it's Lehman with Lace Covered Skies. I'm here today to do a tutorial on this card that I always put into my retro journals. I love the way they turn out and it just always works out really well in my journals. And they can be different sizes, so they fit into different sized pockets. Now, what I have always used for them are these pages from the Better Homes and Garden 5-ring binder recipes. But you can do this with anything. You can do it with recipes. You can do it with just anything from any book, like poems or little excerpts or anything. Pictures. But I use these. And I usually back them onto pink cardstock because I feel like it makes this brown tan background a little more feminine, and it has like the red in it as well. So let me go ahead and I'll start with this page. Since I was using it before and it is ready right here. So I'll usually cut these recipes and sometimes if I know I'm making it for a certain person, I'll pay attention to the food, to the specific recipes, but it isn't necessary, especially if just going into a generic journal. The next thing I do is I will glue them onto a whole page. And I think I've said it before, gluing is never my favorite thing to do. It's just not fun for some reason. I think because I'm a person that needs things to be very secure. And if I were to use a wet glue, it would warp the page. But a glue stick is, to me, it's not that fun to use a glue stick. But I do love these glue sticks that I've been using. And whenever I have, when I have a glue stick that I'm done with, I scrape out the inside. But that usually works with bigger pieces, and we're just gluing smaller pieces. So let's go ahead and glue a few of these. Oh, and sometimes I look on the back before I cut it. This time I forgot to. But sometimes the recipes on one side will be a little bit better to use. Now, I forgot to, I usually put a dot because I put glue on both pieces, both surfaces that will need to be glued together, because I'm just everything has to be very secure. So I will start with one side, and then I'll make sure there's glue on the other side as well. I'm just redoing this because I had to stop a little bit. I always feel like it's a little bit of a race against time, because glue sticks, not this glue stick because it's a wetter glue stick, but a lot of times glue sticks just very quickly dry, like too fast to work with. This one's good though. It's kind of like, I mean, it's a wetter glue stick. It's kind of like mascara. I like wet mascara formulas. I don't like the dry formulas. And I leave a little bit of room so I could do a little bit of distressed stamping up there, just because I think it gives a more like vintage look. And this, because it has a holes, it's a little bit wider. So I will use the other side of the paper for that. But I think right there should be good. So I'm just going to mark little dots in between. I think I'll start with this side. And this glue stick is at the bottom already. So let me just do a little bit of scraping out the inside. And then what I do is I get a drier glue stick to kind of spread that glue around, since there's a lot of that glue now that I scraped it out. And then I'll go back in with my other glue stick. This is a new one. Make sure I get the edges really well. There will be no sewing around these edges, so I really try to make sure that there's a lot of glue there. I remember working on my glue book, which the glue book was a lot of fun for me to work on, but I didn't enjoy gluing so much, especially because in my glue book I used a lot of large images that covered the entire page, and it was already a large glue book as it was, so it was challenging. Right, I think I'll put this down here. And then there should still be room for this one. Yeah, that'll be fine. Let me check to make sure. I hope I was in frame all that time, because I was sitting down. When I was in elementary school, we didn't have glue sticks. We used paste, and it was the paste that was in those, do you guys remember those 35 millimeter film canisters for taking pictures, like the film, Kodak film? We put the paste in that. And I remember not liking paste either. I always liked glue more, like wet glue. this old paper, I think it reacts kind of uniquely to glue because I feel like it makes it stickier, where it like rips. All right, so what I'll do is I'll go through and do that 2 pages of this pink cardstock, and I'll just do that over and over again. And I am noticing that since this glue stick is a little bit wetter, it warps the paper a little bit when it's still wet, but once it dries, it's fine. So let's let that dry for a little bit, and in the meantime, I'm going to show you how I make the tabs. Let me grab a punch. Alright, so I use this punch. I hope my address isn't on this. No, it's not. But I got this punch. It was at my first Hobby Lobby clearance sale in 2018 when I very first found out about junk journals. I just realized my light isn't on. Okay, sorry about that. But I got this punch back then, and I'm glad I did, because I guess with those clearance sales, you never know if you're going to use something. But I've always discovered that when I don't buy it, then suddenly I have a need for it. So I always buy I always kind of go with my instinct when it comes to getting bargains, because so many times I've never regretted getting a bargain, but I'll regret not getting something, and then by the time I want to get it, it's no longer available. Now for those tabs, I use this paper. I love it. I get it at Joann's, and I have a whole stack just for these tabs. So what I do is, I even have a sample in here, I think. What I do is I cut out a strip. Yeah, I have a sample right here. I cut out a strip this size. This is the perfect size for it because it goes right to the edge. It's like an optical illusion. And that way I'm not wasting paper. So let me cut a strip of that. I forget which way is better, where it doesn't. And I know some of you might not have this tab punch, and it's not the best tab punch in the world because let's try going this way. It's not the best tab punch in the world at all because it doesn't connect the tabs. So when you glue it, even though any tab you would glue anyways, but it would be nice if it connected. But it doesn't connect. So it is, and it only tabs out one side. And I don't even know if it's designed to be a tab, but it isn't the perfect tab punch, but I still love it and use it all the time. All right, I am going to go ahead and cut this. And I think the next time Joann's has this paper on sale, I should grab a few more sheets because I don't want to run out. Then I will go ahead and fold this in half. It looks very thin. I hope I measured correctly. Sometimes when you're trying to save, you end up wasting more, because if this is like just slightly off and I had to cut a whole new sheet, it's going to be a lot more wasteful than if I would have just made it a tiny bit bigger, but we'll see. All right, let me just use my bone folder to score it. And let's go ahead and punch. And the reason why I have to do it so thin is because the tab punches the one in the inside, so it will punch out these other shapes, so I don't want it to do that. Okay, this is going to be a little bit of an awkward position, especially if I'm out of frame. All right, so I make sure that it's all in there, and I go ahead and I punch, and then I'll just go down the row and do that to the whole strip. All right, so there we have our tab. Now let's go over, if you don't have this tab punch, what you can do. I make tabs using my envelope punch, and if you guys want a tutorial on that, let me know in the comments. I would be happy to do a tutorial on that. I love these tabs. They are a little bit big for this project, but they would work. Like if I had a big recipe like this, I would just put it on the side, and I think it would look great. I think that would look so cute. But that's one option. You can make a tab with the what do you call it, the envelope punch. And another thing that can easily be done is to make a tab using this scallop circle punch. So you just have a circle like this, and you would cut, so I already, if your scallop punch is different, it's going to be different for you. But if I go in one of these valleys, like if this is the peak and this is the valley, if I go in that valley and I go straight across into the middle of a peak, it'll cut it exactly in half. And that way I can use this as a tab. And I did this. Of course, it's going to look better with cute paper. So I did this with some scraps that I had. And tabs are great to work with when you're making tabs. I used this paper, and I think it looks so cute. Let me show you how it looks. Actually, I like this side better. So, I mean, I'm just showing you over this tab because that's what I have in front of me. But you would just glue the two sides together and match up the scalloped edges, and I think that is super cute. We can put this on one. All right, so I think I will go ahead and just start cutting this out. And in part 2, we'll put on the tab, I think I hand cut this last time. So I'm going to hand cut this. Let's just do one since this is what we're working on. All right. So there we have it. We have this ready to work on. So that's what I would do. Just glue it and cut a little bit extra. I will be back with part 2 to show you how I finish this off to make it look like this. All right. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. If you want to see more videos from me, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell notification button so you get notified when I upload a video. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will talk to you next time. Bye, everyone.